Hello and welcome back to the Performance Centre here at Howley Hall Golf Club in Leeds. I'm Ryan Rastall, PJ Professional, and if you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button, see loads more content from all of us here at Golfshake to help you play more and play better. It's that silly season for us right now, where there's just tons of clubs coming out left, right and centre, and the latest ones we're going to take a look at are the Paradym AI Smoke Fairway Woods from Callaway. So this new line of fairway woods from Callaway, the Paradym AI Smoke, we're seeing that Paradym name coming forward again, which was so popular last year and had so many wins all over the world. Now, there's been a bit of a facelift, a slightly different look, slightly different colours, and as you can see, they look really, really nice. So let's start with the Max D, okay? So the Max D is the kind of draw bias fairway, if you like, a little bit of offset there, as you can see. We've got this nice forged carbon chassis in here as well, in the sole plate and also in the crown. So that technology basically repositions weight around the head. Because we're saving weight in the crown and also in that sole plate, Callaway are able to reposition it, move it around, change the spin and CG characteristics to really help all of those golfers out there, no matter where they miss the club face. So AI is obviously in the name of this product, but also has been used extensively in its design. Now, what Callaway have done is basically used real players' data. So they look at where me and you miss the middle of the club face and the types of handicaps and where they miss the middle of the club face to help them design all of these different models. So the Max D will be aimed predominantly at that player who maybe needs that bit more help to get the ball airborne, but maybe hits down on the ball a little bit, so produces lots of spin. So what we should see with this is, particularly with this tungsten speed cartridge that is in the front of the fairway wood here, it's going to help to reduce some of that spin, kind of get the launch conditions back where they should be and really suit that player who maybe swings a little bit over the top, maybe has that tendency to slice the ball a little bit. We're going to find a hell of a lot of forgiveness in here. When we move on to the Max model, some of that draw bias has disappeared. It's a little bit cleaner looking at address, so not quite as offset looking, if you like. We've still got the same technologies in the forged carbon in the sole and also in the crown as well. I just think this fairway looks absolutely fantastic, sits really nicely behind the ball and really gives you loads of confidence. Now, the one that everyone wants to see every year is the Triple Diamond, okay? So this is the one that's slightly different, where it doesn't have that sole design, that forged carbon in the sole plate. So a little bit different there. So the weight characteristics are slightly different. But also remember, this fairway wood is designed for a different type of player. We can see that chevron has disappeared from the top line of the fairway wood there as well. We've also got a weight in there. You can get different weight options in this, but it's not particularly movable, or you're not going to get a weight kit with this fairway wood. But we're going to put them through their paces and hit them here in the Performance Centre in a little bit. But the biggest kind of design improvement and innovation that Callaway have brought this year is the AI Smart Face. So you can see that in the bottom line on the fairway wood there. Now, what is that? Well, Callaway have obviously used AI a lot in their design, using artificial intelligence to kind of mock up faces for drivers, fairways, hybrids, irons even, and also now in putters that we saw introduced at the end of last year in the AI1 and AI1 Milled series. So Callaway and Odyssey are using this technology extensively in designing golf clubs. Now, what does that mean? Well, it allows them to mock up faces and show how they perform and show different iterations of it much quicker than it would do if they were having to mock them, build them, test them, then go back to the drawing board if they didn't work. The AI supercomputer that they have at Callaway HQ really helps them to test these in the real world without being in the real world, if that makes sense. So the artificial intelligence side of it basically will show them exactly how each face will perform for different levels of golfer. And it's because Callaway have collected so much data over the years from all different golfers of all different abilities that they're able to confidently say that different models will suit different swing speeds and different launch characteristics. So it'll be really interesting to see how these perform, not only when we hit good shots with them, but also when we get some off-center hits as well. So we're going to jump into the TrackMan now, we're going to hit some shots and we're going to show you exactly how each of these models perform. So the first one we're going to try is the Max D, okay? So the draw bias version of this fairway wood. As you'd imagine, with it being draw bias, when we sit it behind the ball, I mean, it doesn't look particularly toed in or anything. I think it still looks quite nice, but there is that little tiny bit of kind of offset, like we saw if you watched our video when we hit the hybrids, the sort of HL version of the hybrid had that little bit of offset in it. This has kind of got a hint of it, but it's not really too much. Let's give it a hit. Sits nicely behind the ball. Got that Callaway chevron on the top of it as well. That looks really good, and a nice big footprint as well. Does feel very good off the face. Nice big high draw there, which is pretty much what it is designed to do. And like I say, felt very, very good. Certainly very solid, easy to get off the ground, and that's exactly the type of shot shape I want to hit. So we can see from that it's not massively draw bias. We are getting that little bit of shape on it, but the tungsten speed cartridge really adds to that feel that we get off the face as well. So let's try the standard Max fairway wood as well. To be honest, when I sit it behind the ball, it looks very similar to the Max D. It kind of suits my eye a little bit better. I don't know why, I just prefer the look of it a bit more. I like that it's quite a big footprint for a fairway wood, which for me, I just want something that's going to be quite easy to use and kind of give me some forgiveness off the face. Certainly fairway woods I've used in the past, I've gone more for the kind of, not the low spin option that you generally get, something a little bit easier to use, because it's a club that I use off the tee quite a lot and potentially use it off the ground a bit as well into par fives and stuff. So it's a club that I want to be quite versatile, and I always find that when we use the low spin ones, they can be a little bit one-dimensional, but this one, like I say, looks great behind the ball, sits really nicely. Let's give it a hit and see how it compares to the Max D. Again, feels every bit as good out the middle of the face. I mean, I don't know if you got that on the camera, but a real crunch to the ball, strike there as well. I absolutely love this fairway wood. I've hit quite a lot of shots with it now when we've been testing it, and it seems to go pretty straight. We'll look at the numbers in a little while, but like I say, this AI smoke in the Max, I think is going to be tough to beat. But yeah, well, let's have a look at the Triple Diamond as well. So as we move on to the Triple Diamond, it's worth noting there is a lighter weight version of these fairway woods that you can get as well. So the Max Light version, which has a lighter shaft, slightly lighter head weight as well, aimed at those players who maybe need that little bit more help with the speed, and also a little bit softer shaft in there as well. But with Triple Diamond, we know that this is aimed at that player with a higher clubhead speed, someone that wants to knock the spin down, and it's quite a versatile club both off the tee and off the ground. In terms of the tech, we've already spoken about the sole slightly different, so we've not got that forged carbon in there this time. But in terms of in its playing position, out of the three models that we've got here, I think it probably looks the nicest and probably the most traditional looking, if you like, when sat behind the ball. But will it perform the best? Let's give it a hit. Yeah, certainly sounds a little bit more kind of metallic sounding, if you like, rather than that kind of crunch of carbon that you get with the others. It's a little bit more, I suppose, traditional sounding for a fairway wood as well. So definitely feels and sounds a bit more metallic. That's a massive push. Let's hit another one. But yeah, in terms of the feel and the sound, very different to what we saw with the other two models, to be honest. A little bit better, a little bit toey, but a little bit more where we wanted it to go. But yeah, I mean, in terms of the way it looks at address, we can see those lines on the face. We can see that we haven't got the chevron on the top. So for that kind of golfing purist and traditionalist, this is going to look the best. But let's have a bit of a look at the numbers and see how they all compare. Okay, so now we've had a chance to hit all three of the fairway woods. Let's have a bit of a look at the performance. We can see obviously all three of them there in the Max D and the Triple Diamond. If we're looking at which one's gone the furthest, we can see Triple Diamond up there at 274 total, 282 total though with the Max, and 276 with Max D. So the Max fairway wood wins out on distance quite considerably. You can see it carries that little bit further, but it's the spin really that wins it. It's quite low spin, which I wasn't expecting from that model at all really. You can see the ball speeds are all fairly comparable, I suppose. I mean, Triple Diamond coming off a little bit higher ball speed than the others, but it's negligible really. It's very, very close. The spin is that little bit higher, hence why it's not going quite as far. Heights are all, within 3 feet of each other, so there's not really much to split them there either. What I would say from hitting them though, and as you can see from the dispersion, is just how much easier that Max one was to hit for me. And also if we look at the dispersion, it's pretty tight as well. So when we compare all three of the models together there, you can see it wins out not only on distance but also on the dispersion characteristics as well. So we can see all of them are pretty good though, to be honest. We've just hit that one that's flared out to the right with Max D, but yeah, all pretty solid and pretty straight shots that we hit there, and certainly ones you would be pretty happy with. But I think overall, for the three that we've used, that Max model just seems to outperform, for me, just outperforms everything. And to be honest, I think it's probably going to find its way into my golf bag. I was very surprised by it, and the distance gain that I've got over what I've got at the moment was pretty promising, to be honest, because at the moment I've got quite a big gap between driver and then 5 wood is my next club. The 3 wood I have at the minute doesn't quite get me close enough to my driver, so I think this could slot in there quite nicely. But yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed that. We've loved testing these, as we always do, and seeing how all this new product performs. It's obviously a busy time of year for new releases for all the different brands that we look at, but for Callaway, Paradym AI Smoke is going to be really, really popular. You can see here that the performance with all 3 models we've tried has been fantastic. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video, and we'll see you all very, very soon.